Good afternoon. So the goal of this presentation is to give you an idea about what our strategy is as a company, and I will back it up with some of the products that we are offering that will align with the strategy. Now, based on our interactions with the customers, what we see is that the customers only want some very basic things. There is no CEO or CIO in the world who does not want to modernize their IT to cloud. Everyone wants to modernize IT to cloud. The second thing is that every CIO wants to optimize the cost. So I'm using a slightly different word and I want you to understand it. I'm not saying lower the cost. It's not about lowering the cost. You can always lower the cost by going after the cheapest available technology in the market. It's not about lowering the cost. It's about getting the best technology, but be able to optimize the cost. That's the most important thing here. The next one is that even though every CIO wants to modernize to the cloud, but not everything can go to the cloud right now. Some things have to stay on-prem, some things have to stay to the cloud, move to the cloud. So the vendors, any vendor in the market has to be able to address all those requirements. And the last one, which is actually becoming very important today, is the security. With all that hacking and security breaches happening all over the world, security has to be an integral part of the product offering, right? And we think that Oracle is the only company in the market today which can achieve all of these. So let me explain to you how. So what is our strategy as a company? Our strategy is to win the war of complexity, not the war of cost. And I'm not saying that the cost is not important. But the most important thing is to win the war of complexity. There is so much of complexity in the products. There is so much of complexity in the workloads. There is so much of complexity when you're trying to bring the workloads together from the point of view of consolidation. There is so much of sophistication in the technology. So a vendor has to be able to win the war of complexity, because if we don't address the complexity as a vendor, it's the customer who has to address that complexity part. So we want to win the war of the complexity in the markets. That's what we are focusing on as a company. We want to enable more use cases, and I'm going to elaborate on this in a second. But we think that enabling more use cases is more important today than ever before. And all of you do it already today. And the great example is right here. Everyone has a smartphone today. Basically, what they're doing is that they reduce the complexity because you don't have to, deal with the complexity of putting a complicated device together. And there are multiple use cases which are enabled in the phone, which is your applications and your music and your pictures and your camera and everything, right? So connected interactions bring synergies. And I'll talk about it in a second. And we need to allow the customer to be able to move to the cloud or modernize their IT based on their specific requirements, whether it is on-prem or it's public cloud or bringing the cloud behind their firewall. So enabling the use cases, but in a hybrid environment, is very important today. And that's all reflected in our product strategy today. If you look at our products, actually that's what we are doing. This slide is exactly what Oracle is all about today. So let's take the example of the use case. There are so many specialized databases in the market. So many means there are so many, just so many. There is a specialized database for everything. For documents, there is a specialized database. For in-memory, there is a specialized database. For IoT, there is a specialized database. This is equivalent to saying that, well, I want to have a specialized device for my music, a specialized device for my photograph, a specialized device for my email, a specialized device for my calendar. But we think it becomes extremely complicated for the businesses because it's more complicated, it costs more, and for every type of specialized database, customer has to still take care of high availability, the patching, and everything that goes along with the database. And then there is a simple question that how do you make these different databases exchange information with each other? Because today, the value is in the combined information that exists in different type of databases. When you are able to look at an OLTP database, a warehousing database, and be able to analyze the information together, all those databases together, that's where the value is. So we think that specialized databases is not the way to go because it does not address the basic needs of the businesses. We have been enabling all the different use cases in our databases. You can actually do every type of specialized database in a single Oracle database. You take the example here, we handle OLTP, we do data warehousing, we offer in-memory processing today as an option in our database. Compare it to SAP offering of HANA. For documents, you can do JSON on databases versus doing it on Mango. For machine learning, we offer advanced analytics, compare it to Cloudera. Key value, Oracle NoSQL, compare it to Cassandra. Then we have embedded DB database for timestamp. We have real-time database timestamp, compare it to MemSQL. All of these different type of use cases can be done in a single database. So the way we look at it, once again, is that it's no different than a device which offers you all the capability in a single machine. So that is the software part of it. Now, I'm saying that we do all of these things, but this is backed by what the analysts say too. So Gartner puts Oracle in the top for both OLTP and analytics today. You can go look further into it. Gartner puts Oracle at the top, not only on OLTP and analytics, but also on other things like IoT, documents, everything. So having a single database, be able to address all type of different use cases is fundamental to the success of our customers. So that is what I mean by enabling multiple use cases in a single environment. Okay? And database is just an example here. This strategy is reflected in all the products that we're making today. You can look at any software product that we have. Our goal as a company is to enable multiple use cases without you having to deal with the complexity of acquiring individual technologies from specialized software vendors and put it together by yourself. Now, one is the complexity of dealing with multiple type of use cases. But the second complexity is actually the hardware or the device related complexity. This part of the strategy is handled by our engineered system stack. Today we offer different type of engineered systems. Engineered systems are vertically integrated stacks which are specialized or they are specifically designed for certain type of workloads. So today we offer Exadata, which is a vertically integrated stack for Oracle databases, and it can handle all different type of use cases today. We have thousands of customers around the world, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. For your smaller installations, if you think that Exadata is too big, for those customers, they can go with a smaller device. It's called Oracle Database Appliance. It can not only take the database, but you have an option to run the application on it too. But it has to run a database at least. Now, for the customers who are going to consolidate their databases onto Oracle technology, or let us say an Exadata or an ODA, every customer wants to be able to back up and recover those databases. For that, we have specialized solutions. We have recovery appliance, which is called ZDLRA, Zero Data Loss Recovery Appliance. You always have an option to back it up on ZFS. Many customers are very comfortable with ZFS. You want to run Hadoop cluster, then we have a vertically integrated stack called Big Data Appliance. And if you want to just have an infrastructure as a service compute and storage, then we have two options there where you can run your applications, middleware, and databases. One is the private cloud appliance, which is based on Intel architecture. And if you are a fan of Spark technology, then we have Spark servers there too to run your applications, middleware, and your databases. So net and net, the point here is that there are two types of complexities. One is the complexity of having to deal with different type of applications, right? But if your single application can perform all the use cases, that substantially reduces customers' complexity. That is what we have been doing. The second thing that we have been doing is that we have been reducing the device complexity for you or for the customers by vertically integrating and pre-testing, pre-deploying all those hardware technologies into these vertically integrated stacks. Now, in the rest of the slides, I'm going to talk about Exadata because Exadata is a supreme example of our strategy because it will demonstrate to you how we are executing on our strategy from a company point of view. Now, what is the general vision of Exadata? So for those who do not know what is Exadata, Exadata is a specialized vertically integrated stack which runs Oracle database. Now the vision of Exadata is to be able to, the vision is to provide a dramatically better platform to run all type of database workloads. And three things have to happen for that statement to be true. One is that you have to have an idealized platform that has been specifically designed for databases. We did that. The second thing is that there has to be a lot of specialized technologies, software technologies built into the machine to be able to address different type of use cases, analytics, OLTP, consolidation, everything. That's what we call a smart software that's built into that machine. And the third thing is that very much like an iPhone, everything is pre-tested, pre-deployed in a single package. That's what Exadata is. And that's my favorite example, by the way. Exadata is no different from a mindset point of view. It's no different than your iPhone. You get exactly the same experience like an iPhone because it's designed just like this. The mindset is exactly the same. Now, we have been selling Exadata for 10 years. In fact, we have sold Exadata in more than 75% of the countries in the world. Let me say it again. More than 75% countries in the world we have sold Exadata in. There are thousands and thousands of customers all over the world who use Exadata. Most critical applications in the world, they run on Exadata. From commercial applications to public sector to defense to everything, run on Exadata. It's the most stable machine that has been produced in the market. In fact, IBM gives it the same reliability rating as a mainframe. It's called AL4 rating. Now, when you think of the hardware, you say, yeah, what do you mean by enabling additional use cases in the hardware? So we realized over a period of time that the customers were taking older data off their Exadata machines and putting it into the object storage. But these were the customers who all came back to us and said that, well, we have to buy additional devices to offload older data off Exadata. But there is a lot of good information sitting in that part of the data itself. We want to be able to access the data. So in April this year, when we released version X8 of Exadata, we introduced something called as a low-cost storage for our Exadata to enable the customers to keep their older data on the same machine itself, right? And this is once again a simple example of enabling more use cases so that the customers do not have to go and buy additional devices just because they have to keep their older databases somewhere else. All right, so Exadata, a very stable technology, time tested. We update that technology every year with new hardware, with new software. But now the thing is that I told you earlier that the customers want to modernize not only their newer workloads, but they also want to modernize their existing workloads. And they want to do it at their own pace. Not everything can go into the cloud. So some of the workload has to stay on-prem the old way. Some of the workload can be moved into the public cloud. And some of the workload is kind of somewhere in between, that the customers like the cloud, but they cannot go to the cloud. So our goal here is to offer options to the customer without having to relearn the same technology. Let me say it once again. It's a very important point. Our goal is to offer a cloud-ready infrastructure technology to the end customers in different formats so that they don't have to learn the same technology over and over if they are moving from on-prem to the cloud or they're bringing cloud behind their firewall. It's exactly the same technology. We are the only company in the market who does that. We offered you exactly the same technology, whichever way you want it. So Exadata is offered in 3 different formats. You can pay the money, buy Exadata, it's yours to keep. This is a traditional model. The second one is that if you want to consume Exadata as a service and you do not want to keep it in your data center, you can acquire Exadata as a service in our public cloud. It's Exadata subscription, but it's the same machine. Then the third model is called Exadata Cloud at Customer, where the customer says, well, I like cloud, but my application or the workload cannot move to the cloud. Can you bring the cloud behind my firewall? So we say yes. Same technology offered in a third format called Exadata Cloud, but at customer. The technology is same, the price is actually also same as a public cloud. Then there are customers who say, great, I want Oracle to take care of my entire lifecycle management of the databases. It's like self-driving database. And that's the new technology, we call it autonomous, where everything is automatic, just like a self-driving car. But the underlying technology is exactly the same, Exadata. So you can freely move between different formats. Today you can keep certain part of your workloads with Exadata on-prem. You can move certain part of the workloads into the public cloud. Same technology, no risks, same experience, but a different format. You can bring you can bring cloud behind your firewall, same technology, same commercial model, same pricing. Or you can let Oracle run everything for you like an autonomous self-driving car, and it's called Autonomous Database Cloud. And once again, no one does it in the market. We are the only company which is offering a cloud-ready infrastructure in a model that you want to consume. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about each of these cases now. Exadata Cloud Service. What do we mean by offering Exadata as a service in the public cloud? It's just like a service. You're consuming it as a service. You're paying for what you use. Very much like any cloud offering, the machines belong to Oracle. They are in Oracle public cloud data centers. You subscribe to a service which is called Exadata Service. It's in the public cloud. You can pick the data center. We have numerous data centers all over the world. You can pick the data center where you want the service to run. And you're just paying for the same technology called Exadata, but on a pay-per-use basis. It's called Exadata Cloud Service, basically Exadata in the public cloud. All right, let me talk a little bit more about it. So, many people think that it is one over the other. That means, should I go with Exadata on-prem? Should I go with Exadata in the public cloud? Should I go with Exadata Cloud at Customer? That means bring the cloud behind my firewall. We see it differently. And most of the knowledgeable customers actually also do it differently. We don't think it's one over the other. It's actually all depends on your workload. There is certain type of workload, maybe your very mission critical workload that you have spent like tens and tens of years to optimize in terms of the architecture and optimize in terms of the processes. You think that that workload is not going to go to the cloud anytime in next 2, 3, 4 years. And you want to keep that workload on-prem. You don't want to change the architecture. You don't want to change the processes. You just want to modernize your database layer. Most customers with that mindset will go with Exadata on-prem. You bring in a time-tested technology, consolidate your database layer without changing the architecture of your business-critical, mission-critical applications. Some of these customers say that, you know what, I have some workload now that I think should move to the public cloud, but I still need a very reliable technology, something that I have used, that I have tested. And these customers will move certain workload to the public cloud. They will use Exadata Cloud service as a database option in the public cloud. And then there are customers who say that, well, I like the value proposition of the cloud. I cannot go to the public cloud because certain type of my workload has a regulatory requirement, or because I do not want to change my architecture the way it exists today, but I love the value proposition of the cloud. And these customers then bring the cloud behind their firewall, consolidate the database layer through Exadata Cloud at Customer. So Exadata Cloud at Customer, just to say it once again, what exactly is it? It's actually Exadata Cloud service. You are subscribing to a service, you are paying for it on a pay-per-use basis, but the machines are actually in your data center behind your firewall. So we'll bring the machines, install it behind your firewalls. That's what Exadata Cloud at Customer is. And the price and the commercials on a per unit basis are same as public cloud. How better can you go than this? We pay the shipping, we pay the customs, we pay the taxes. Everything is taken care by Oracle. You are just paying exactly the same price, but you're bringing the cloud behind your firewall. So that's Exadata Cloud at Customer. If you look at the Fortune 100 customers, 77% of them are today, they use Exadata on-prem technology where they buy it and consume it, right? They basically own it. And 25% of the Fortune 100 customers today use Exadata in the cloud format. And this slide is actually from last year, so that number has gone up. But once again, the point here is that customers today look at their decisions mostly on a workload by workload basis. Certain workload will follow the older norms, some workload will move to the public cloud, some workload can benefit from the cloud but cannot move to the public cloud, right? And there is risk everywhere. There is complexity everywhere. There are different type of use cases. That's exactly what we are solving. Now, autonomous database. The simple way to understand the autonomous database is to take an example here. So there is a car company in US, it's called Tesla. So Tesla has an electric car. And obviously you drive it like a regular car. But you can buy a package called autonomous package. It's a self-driving package. The car actually drives by itself based on the map. And that's autonomous. It's fully self-driving. So when we say Exadata autonomous or autonomous database, it's actually exactly the same Exadata technology, just like a Tesla car, but it has autonomous package on top of it that makes it self-driving in a way that the system monitors itself, it patches itself, it tunes itself, it does everything what we otherwise consider as lifecycle management of databases. Is completely done by the system, and it's called autonomous database. But once again, it's based on the same cloud-ready infrastructure called Exadata. And once again, we are taking the example of Exadata here. All other systems and everything else that we're doing at Oracle is following exactly the same methodology. That means to reduce the complexity for the end customer. And number two, is to enable more use cases for the customers so that they don't have to go and buy different type of specialized equipment and software. Now, autonomous is a big thing today. Oracle, obviously, in our marketing, we are talking a lot about autonomous technology. So autonomous is available in the public cloud format as of today. There are two different versions. You can buy it in a shared manner. That means a single server is running multiple databases, autonomous databases belonging to different customers. Or you can have a dedicated machine to yourself if you want to just put a mission critical workload using autonomous. So in the public cloud, we have two different formats for autonomous database. One is called autonomous data warehouse, which is targeted towards analytics type of workload, warehouses, data lakes, and data marts. And if the customers want to run OLTP, then you obviously go with autonomous transaction processing. That is for your mission critical workload in the public cloud. Now, I said that we are offering autonomous in the public cloud today. But then there are customers who say that, well, I love autonomous, but my application workload cannot go to the public cloud. Can you bring autonomous behind my firewall? The answer is yes, we will do it. And this is a forward-looking statement, so standard disclaimers apply that this may never happen. But as a part of our strategy, including Larry Ellison last year mentioned that we will bring autonomous in the clouded customer format behind customer's firewall. So once again, same time-tested technology, more use cases are being enabled on top of it. Now let me wrap it up with one very small thing here. Do you really have to go to autonomous if you want to take advantage of certain type of capabilities? Actually, the answer is no. I have been using the word cloud-ready infrastructure. So when we say that, well, Exadata on-prem, is Exadata on-prem really an older form of technology? Even though we are offering it in a state-of-the-art newer hardware, but is it like something really old from the mindset point of view? The answer is no. We actually offer, as of today, if you say, I like autonomous because it does automatic indexing. But that's one of the biggest capabilities of autonomous, that it takes care of indexing on its own. You don't have to do indexing in databases. If you say that I like autonomous because it does the indexing on its own, but I love Exadata on-prem, can I get it? The answer is yes. You can have an Exadata on-prem. You can run Oracle 19C on it, and you get the capability of auto-indexing on that machine without having to pay a single extra dollar. Let me make it even better. You say that I like autonomous because it has auto-indexing, but I also like autonomous because someone is monitoring it. But I love Exadata on-prem. Can you do it? The answer is yes. There is something called Platinum Services. It's free. You can get Exadata on-prem. You can attach Platinum Services to it. Oracle monitors the health of the machines. If there is any problem, we'll come and fix it actually. I said that in autonomous, we do detection of a lot of different type of errors within the machines. Can you do it with Exadata on-prem? The answer is still yes. There is a newer version of Exadata software, and it has machine learning capability to find the issues within the machine way in advance. So the point here is that Exadata as an underlying technology is a cloud-ready infrastructure. You have to just choose the way you want to consume it, and you can have all the capabilities or majority of the capabilities of any different model that you want. And this is all about reducing the complexity for the customer, and this is all about enabling most use cases for you. So you can put multiple databases on the same machine, but it's something that we call as consolidation. But once you are doing the consolidation of different type of databases, It also means that all the information that's vitally important to you is actually sitting at a single place. And then you can have something called as connected interaction. That means you can take decisions based on the data that is sitting across multiple databases. Thank you very much.